Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Fahey. Joining me as ever, prettiest boy under the sun, high-functioning pervert, consummate pretty boy, my friend and sometimes lover, Aaron Joseph Pita.
Thank you so much for mentioning the lover part.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to kind of keep that just between us three.
Hey, whatever works.
But now everyone knows, so that's fine. To my right is my definitely not sometimes lover and friend,
Oh, you're
Matthew
lost.
Brousseau.
Hi, thank you.
straight guy.
Thank you.
Oh, straight. So straight.
Sometimes.
Matthew Brousseau,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. It's great to be here.
Did I tell you, like, several women have told me in person, like, man, it's really creepy how you guys tell each other how pretty you are at the beginning of every episode.
I've had several men tell me that they love it.
Yeah.
I'm on the guy's side.
All right, and I'm always like, really? You think it's creepy? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, awesome.
Finally.
So psyched.
I'm super psyched about loving each other.
Yes. I'm not the least bit sorry. It's like, oh, what, were you creeped out? Show about weirdos?
Yeah, whose problem is that?
Big surprise. I think we're going to have, first of all, Aaron, you're going to delight us to part 2 of the history of number 1. That's
Yes.
very, very exciting.
Yes. You could call it History's Pistories if you like.
Yes, absolutely. And before we start, I just want to send a special shout out to just a random Patreon subscriber I picked,
Nice.
Adriana Perez.
Adriana, what's up, girl? Girl?
Yeah?
Yeah, you know, what's up,
Yeah.
person?
Female?
Who's to say? None of that shit matters anymore, man.
Dude.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Very good.
But the Patreon is doing extremely well. There's more members all the time. That's very exciting. On the Patreon this month, we've got some of our drunk escapades from the cabin coming out, heavily
Yes.
edited.
Oh, God. I don't know. I think it needs to be more heavily edited.
Well, I put out the second one of 3 today,
Okay.
and there was some light editing. Mainly, we're keeping it together, but considering how
good.
drunk I was in that one, I'm afraid to listen to the third one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's I mean, you know, if you want to hear some debauched activity in the middle of nowhere with no cell phone reception, that's what's going on this month on the Patreon. But otherwise on the Patreon, we throw out all types of shit. We do a music show, Chopped Up Jukebox. We do just random other profiles that we want to, especially the more lurid and weird
Yes.
ones.
Oh, did I tell you I found Ken Carter's grave? Oh, that's a whole story I want to save because we did a Ken Carter Canadian Daredevil episode.
Yeah. Is it a Better Roses?
It is not, but it's unmarked. But the findagrave.com, shout out to them. They're amazing.
Shout out to unofficial sponsor.
Findagrave.com.
Findagrave.com.
Yeah.
Wow.
They also gave me
Very.
info on Utica and
No way.
yeah, and Roxy.
Findagrave.com.
Yeah.
It's kind of like those name a star websites. Like,
Right.
oh yeah, that's mine now. Sure.
My friend Karen Hiringa in Chicago sent me a picture she found of the very modest grave in Iceland for Bobby Fischer.
Oh.
Ah.
Yeah, very, very just low key. You know, not anything crazy at all.
This is a checkmate.
Yeah. Checkmate, God.
I think it actually says check, please. Check, please. I wanted to tell you our friend to the north, Mars Quave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mars Quave.
Mars
yes, I'm
Quave.
familiar.
Yeah. She put up a picture that's it was quite meme famous a few years ago, which is that picture of that old white guy, and it says accused of Drinko's pee-pee. It's like
No.
like on TV. It says accused of Drinko's pee-pee, and then underneath is a quote from him saying, "I like the taste."
No.
So
Drinkos?
Drinko's pee-pee. I don't know what's up with that, but accused of Drinko's pee-pee, and I like the taste. And so, like, I don't really know her or whatever, you know what I mean? But, like, she's on Instagram, and I go, hold up, what's that? And she's like, I don't know, I'd love to find the origin of it. I'm like, I'm already on it, right? So I'm like going down Google, and I find it comes from this news story out of Columbus of this guy, Columbus, Ohio, this guy that was, he was putting saran wrap on like toilet bowls where like little boys would pee and stuff like that. So he's like, whatever.
It'd splash up.
Well, he was trying to save it, right? Because he likes the taste.
Oh, it's got to be
And
fresh.
he's leaving,
Don't waste it, taste it.
Yeah.
He's leaving cups and urinals and stuff like that. So all this different shit. And he likes the taste.
He's leaving cups in your people because people were like, "Oh, a cup! I'm gonna fill this cup up."
Perfect, And
why is this guy taking a dump for 6 hours?
So he gets caught or whatever, and he's like, "I don't know, man. I like the taste." And and they found that like he had no other
Record.
pedophilic any type shit like that, but like or like doing anything, but like he would offer like little boys money for their pee.
Oh, wow.
And shit.
It's like Spitman.
And so all this shit.
Piss man.
Every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Foiva.
And so the article ends with this woman that's like whatever in the area, her being like, "You need to give me his picture so I can show my son. He doesn't like it when he comes in the bathroom with me. I'm gonna show him this picture and be like, you see this? This is why you can't go to the bathroom by yourself, because there's men like this waiting." I'm like, lady, he's not going to go to the bathroom alone until he's like 27.
Yeah, you're perpetuating the cycle. That's how you become addicted to Drinko's pee-pee.
Yeah,
Is that your
that's how
mom
he
will
gets
let you
ya.
pee-pee alone.
He's playing the long game.
I'm like, lady,
the short game.
please. I'm like,
You see this?
you see this, you 4-year-old innocent creature?
Yeah.
This
You
is
want
a
me
monster.
to cut it off? Jesus.
I'm like, don't do that. This, I like the taste as an outlier. You know what I mean? That's
I'm with you, bro.
that's not a common thing. Like, don't convince your 5-year-old child
That everyone's out there
every
trying to
man
drink a
is
pee.
trying. And also, saran wrap. What are you doing, dude?
Yeah, dude.
Like, these kids don't know their fucking piss isn't
Well,
going
I
in the
know it
toilet.
I knew it kind of as like a prank where you'd wrap
Yeah.
Right,
the
right,
toilet with cellophane and it would
Yeah.
splash back
So they
up.
take a dump on
Right,
it. Yeah.
right.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he was not doing it for that reason.
Hey
He-
Joe, you have a upper deck of toilet?
But I felt like if anybody knew that meme from like a few years ago, I never
didn't
know
know that.
internet
I never saw
culture
it.
or whatever.
Never
Accused
saw
of Drinko's pee-pee. I like the taste. That is the origin of that. Is this weirdo white dude in Columbus, Ohio?
Drinko's pee-pee sounds like a cool like craft beer.
It does.
Drinko's pee-pee.
Portland's finest.
Guilty as charged.
I like the taste.
It's warm, but I'm cold. I got a little thing if we're talking about piss.
Is that about right?
We definitely are.
I'm just going to read. We can go into more. I just want to read. This is the sentence that hooked me. It's really a short article. Belgian media reported that Laniad was stricken when a substance was ejected into his penis, triggering his demise.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry.
Laniad was stricken when a substance was injected into his penis, triggering his demise.
A gentleman named Leonid.
A billionaire went to get a penis enlargement operation and died on the operating table when they injected something into his penis.
Oh no!
What did they inject?
Well, a bigger penis, apparently.
Oh yeah.
It should have been urine.
Well, he could have handled that. Of all the ways to go out, and he ran a diamond company.
Oh my Jesus Christ Almighty!
And they have a quote from the company, "Farewell to a visionary businessman." And then it says, one friend told Belgian media that he had always focused on his appearance and how others perceived him. And now it's all too real.
Now he's dead.
Yeah.
Good God Almighty!
But with a huge cock.
Yeah.
They have to bury a separate coffins.
Big old D battery in there.
That's
Well,
yeah, like what? Cement?
well, you know, you inject 5 cc's of a young boy's urine directly intramuscular. It gets rid of his
Yeah, it's
spasticity and
dangerous,
all
yeah.
that.
And
right?
it kicks it up a notch.
It does kick it up
Put a
notch.
balloon in there.
Um,
Some Irishman scene.
I've got a part 2. So we left it off with kick it up a notch.
Yes, we did.
And I just had so many more notes about urine.
Thank God.
And I still have
There's a lot we didn't get to.
There's so much. I mean, whoever. One is
It's a Chuck Berry quote.
the loneliest number, but it's a big number.
It is.
And I just during the course of all this research, it just, urine is 95% water. We talked about it. 5% of the biochemicals and excessive requirement. And just
stuff.
like as I was just like reading all this stuff, it just was like throughout history, urine was used for so many things and is used for so many things that it seemed like any time that any sort of recipe or formula called for water, somebody somewhere was like, but what if it was piss?
Yeah.
Well, water's hard to find. Piss is everywhere.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through some more uses, some more interesting uses of urine.
Yeah.
And then I'll get to some other stuff.
Okay.
Some of the more kind of like medicinal stuff. Aristotle rubbed it into his scalp to counter baldness. I think he died bald. Of course, we know.
Smelling like piss.
Yeah. Of course, all of the stuff with Pliny the Elder.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a contemporary, but close enough. Aztecs used it to clean wounds.
Oh, man, imagine just pissing my wound.
Ah.
But pissing my
Piss
wound.
on it.
The Mongols, the Mongolian horse warriors washed themselves in it to combat crotch rot.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
Crotch rot from riding the horse too much.
Right, because they rode them like bareback. And and they were on them all the time.
Bareback.
And I think that leads credence to the kind of like if you have athlete's foot, piss on your feet.
Jesus.
Native Americans in New England treated ant and snake bites with it. No word on giant centipedes.
But I mean, same thing with jellyfish.
That's the thing with jellyfish. So the reason I looked a little more into the
Though I heard it does. It's not actually.
That's what we talked about in the last episode.
Oh,
briefly.
yeah, I heard it from you.
Yeah. So, because pee is 95% water,
All right.
it really doesn't have any better of effect than water in general. So when a jellyfish stings you, it leaves these things that are called, I think they're called nematocysts, and they're activated by water. And so if you pee on it, it just triggers them to release more of this irritant toxin. And that's why vinegar is better, or something to like neutralize
Yes.
what these little kind of microscopic, almost like stingers are.
Right.
So peeing on it is basically just watering on it, which, if anything, makes it worse.
Spray white vinegar on it. White vinegar solves
Right.
everything.
I mean, if you're full of piss and vinegar,
yeah, there you go.
Right, but in New England, for some reason, the Native American tribe thought it was good for
and snake bites.
and
Well, they're
snake-
not jellyfish, John.
No, but I mean,
There's no water in the middle of
ant
it.
and snake, like I mean, those are two vastly different problems.
But they bite.
Right? You know, like
They had a lot of ants and a lot of snakes.
talking about major.
What are you? Is there another?
They're invertebrates.
Right, sure.
Is there not another animal that is biting? Would
Well,
bite
yeah,
you as
I
often
was
as a
like,
snake or an ant?
You can't treat a bear bite with piss.
Yeah.
Like a fucking bee sting or something. Throw something in the middle, you know?
Maybe they did. I
Well,
don't know.
stings
Who's
and
to say?
bites are different.
Like, fuck, kid, that fucking snake was fucking...
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Lewis and Clark
Hmm.
encountered a tribe in Oregon in 1806 who, quote,
Jesus.
bathed themselves all over with urine every morning, end
Oh.
quote.
Good God.
It's like Folgers, you know.
Fishermen throughout the centuries have sworn by urine's antiseptic qualities. Like if you get like a fish hook in your finger or whatever like that.
Piss on it.
Yeah, piss on it.
But is
Wash
there
it off.
actually any? Is that real or is it just?
Well, I think what I got out of it is fresh water
Yes.
was very hard to find
Yeah.
until the modern era.
Right.
Clean, fresh water. I mean, that's why beer and wine were the drink of choice
Right.
for the centuries because the fermentation killed any sort of pathogens or bacteria in it. The
Right.
side effect was that you got buzzed, but
The
having
human body was the best filtration system.
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
the best source of fresh, non-pathogenic water. Unless the
Right.
person had gonorrhea or
Yeah.
something.
Plus, I like the taste.
That's side benefit. It was used as an emergency antiseptic in World War One. Again, pre-antibiotics.
God, what a
right?
good war.
What was the
What a
emergency?
good. I'm out of piss.
The war.
The emergency?
A war is a never-ending emergency.
We're all out of blah, blah, blah. Piss all over
Well,
me.
Like iodine was in
Yeah.
it. You know, iodine's kind of hard to come by. You can't. It smells.
Sure,
it stains.
sure.
It's not it's not readily available.
But I mean, what's worse than you stepped on a landmine and now your friend's pissing all over you? You know what I mean? Like, hard times.
Yes. And I got trench foot, and now Jacques pissing.
Gotta
on
do
me.
it, bro.
You telling me? And I gotta breathe through piss in a handkerchief?
Yeah.
In 1906, pathologist W. James Wilson identified the antimicrobial properties of urea. And that's one of the reasons that it is antimicrobial is urea in urine. In 1938, an article published in The Lancet. Lancet is, it's a very, very popular medical journal.
Yeah.
Peer-reviewed type of thing. Urea crystals were described as treating abscesses, infected traumatic wounds, infected hematomas, cellulitis, septic wounds from burns, varicose ulcers, carbuncles, and inflamed tendons of the hand.
Carbuncles?
Yeah, carbuncles.
The fuck is a carbuncle?
A carbuncle is like the opposite of a protein bunkle.
Okay.
No, a carbuncle is
You just both
like
believe that.
a sore,
It's all for
Oh, cool.
like a sore, or
carbuncle.
blister,
Yeah.
or blister.
Yeah.
Like who won the race? Charlie horse?
Yeah.
You know that old gag? You say who won the race, then you say Charlie horse, and you punch someone?
Right.
Oh no.
Oh, that's a
no,
great
no.
old gag.
Speaking of horse races, Santa Anita Racetrack shut down indefinitely because
they
21 horses died this year.
In 3 months.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened there?
This year alone, 21 horses have died at Santa Anita Racetrack, so they have shut it down indefinitely.
It's impressive. It's hard to kill that many horses.
It's a horse.
Yeah. Got to cut it off at the knees.
Let's see. 1992, Dr. Gunnar Swanbeck in Sweden observed that urea had an anti-itching effect and tonic effect on skin maladies like eczema and psoriasis.
Is that about right?
Yeah, because you're too embarrassed to be covered in piss to actually itch yourself.
Yeah, I don't itch at all. I just smell like piss. And urea is well known in the cosmetic community. It's an ingredient in everything. If you
Right.
look at facial moisturizers, mascara, all urea is in everything. It's now synthetically synthesized. It's not made from
Pig
human-
piss or
right,
whatever.
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
But urea is in everything.
Now with human piss. That's
Well,
it
I mean,
used to be pig piss.
I
Now-
prefer my foundation to be made with free range human piss, but
Yeah.
in a pinch, synthetic will do. Smelling salts. Like when you pass out, like if you've, I've fainted.
Yeah.
Or in a boxing
Or
ring.
NFL,
Original smelling salts were derived from urine.
Really?
Ammonium carbonate gas irritates the membranes of the lungs, triggering an inhalation reflex.
Oh, yeah, because it's fucking like human instinct. to be
Jesus
like,
Christ,
"What?
what's going
Somebody
on?"
pissed all over me?
Yeah. Why?
Survival, bro.
Yeah, all the cavemen who couldn't wake up when piss was around them, they
Piss
died.
Let's see, more uses. Rehydrating army rations.
Oh, well, yeah.
Even to this day, so
Shut up.
so-
Are you fucking kidding me?
so by dehydrating food, you save a lot of weight, right? Food is mostly water.
Oh, my God.
So these dehydrated rations, they come with filters that you can use muddy water or dirty stream water
Those
or whatever.
life straw thing,
and
yeah.
like the life straw, exactly. And urine will work to rehydrate your army ration.
Right, so now you're telling me that I have
So you can save like 50%
I've been
of the
breathing
weight.
in all this piss through a handkerchief. And then I stepped on a landmine and my buddy pissed on me. And then my other buddy pissed on this Slim Jim so it would turn into a steak. Or whatever the fuck. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Let's piss all the way down, John.
It's just it's annoying.
Everything you need to stay alive.
It's trickle down workonomics.
It should be pee all you can pee. It should be just like every use of pee.
Pee all you can
All you
pee, John.
can pee.
That's we got it. We got a
Somebody
poster.
please make a shirt.
We have a new poster.
Please make a shirt.
Dude, it's everywhere.
It is
I got
everywhere.
a stump for a thigh covered in piss.
Starving,
Yes. But,
and I'm breathing in
but
toxic
the
fumes.
mustard gas hasn't got me because this beer piss from my pal
The Kaiser had no idea how easy it was to stop him with piss.
God damn it. You know.
It also it makes a superior brick, my boys. Dr. Victoria Harris, on a humanitarian mission in the Darfur region of the Sudan, she was addressing construction problems in this war-torn area for like refugees and all that stuff, and she said that there are not enough trees in all of the Sudan to build enough shelter for all these displaced people.
Piss on him.
And water, if we were to make some sort of like cement or mortar or bricks, it's Africa. There's not a lot of water in there. Water's for drinking.
Right.
So what are we gonna do?
It takes so much water to fucking make it.
So.
Oh.
But you know what is plentiful? Piss.
Yeah.
So there's these spinning cement trucks going down the street, and guys have to go up and piss into them every.
Well, it's the Darfur, so it's more
right,
like
it's more-
a mud
Yeah, it's a
pit.
Yeah.
And they pee. They made this mud adobe basically, but with urine.
Yeah.
And they made these bricks, and they tested the shit out of them. They sprayed like jets at them, and the urea acted as a superior binding agent, and piss bricks made incredible, sustainable, non-wasteful building materials.
That
The house the piss built
is incredible.
Yep.
You know that house you live in? Man, I pissed all over that.
Well, and like the chemical reactions between like the ammonia in the piss and the nitrate in the piss, like it was also antibacterial, so it would keep away like mold and other sort of
It's
things.
mutant bricks.
Yeah, it's the X bricks.
Oh yeah. So wait, whoa, hold on.
Wood can mold and rot unless it's treated.
Unless you piss on it.
Right? But
So you have like kind of an inherent like antiseptic kind of thing going on here that is like actually really preventing shit that would, if it was just water.
it's possible that like the straw would decompose and rot, but the piss.
That is fucking amazing, dude.
Isn't that great?
All those minerals, really it lines it.
I mean, like, this whole thing started off with us just being gross and dumb, but the more I hear about piss, the more I'm like...
I'm a believer. I'm a pee leader.
I'm really not joking. I mean, like, it really makes a lot of sense where it's like, I mean, I used to be fucking around all the time, be like, what are you going to do, flush all that piss down the toilet? But, I mean, the more I hear about it, I'm really like, you should be using this shit for something.
There should be a funnel next to our toilet where we piss into a funnel and it goes into a can. The city collects it.
It goes into a city reservoir.
From the last episode
From
of the piss,
Rome.
Rome did
Washing
it for the launderers, but I think it was Denmark. They have separating toilets, and the farmers collect it for their fertilizer.
Yeah, it's very wasteful of us to be wasting all this piss.
It's such a shame.
Yeah, now all it does is cure fucking lobster depression.
Yeah, it's getting fucking eels high on coke. I mean, good lobsters are good lobsters, though.
They even in the book they touch on like the whole Alex Jones frogs are turning gay and stuff.
In the pee book?
Yeah.
Are they turning gay?
Well, because of all the various, antidepressants and cocaine aren't the only drugs people take, right? So they take anti-androgens, or they're taking steroids or whatever. So
chemically,
there can be effects downstream, quite literally, of different behavior in marine animals.
Right. So there's a frog living out the side of someone's home, and it's just like pure testosterone coming.
Dick.
Yeah.
German monk Theophilus Presbyter described hardening tools by smearing them in pig fat, covering them with strips of goat skin and clay, heating it until red hot, and then cooling it, quenching in urine.
Ooh, the old urine cool.
So in blacksmithery.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
So he would then, like I said, he would smear them in pig fat, cover them with strips of goat skin and clay, heat till red hot, and then quench in urine, preferably that of goats fed on ferns for 3 days, or that of a small red-headed boy.
What?
The specificity is always what gets me.
I love specificity.
And how do they get to that point where they're like, oh, large redhead boy? No, that won't do. But the small one.
So there's a lot of blacksmithery. There's a lot of what would you call it? Blacksmithing.
Yeah, right.
Foundry work, smithing.
It had some weird alchemy to it, kind of thing.
And there is some science behind some of what was going on here. Part of hardening metals involves infusing more nitrogen
Right.
into the ore, I think, and so the P is heavy in nitrogen as well as goat skin and clay, and so there is some like pseudoscience, or rather imperfect science, to what ancient people were doing
Right.
by covering their tools in fat and piss
So pig fat, goat skin,
and boy pee.
boy pee.
Mm-hmm.
What a great smelling place to work.
Well, you have to imagine, like, the whole world back then smells like fucking shit anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like there's some good deodorant.
We talked about how urine was used in laundry, right?
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get stains out. Urine was used in a lot of dyes
Keep stains in.
to make the stain,
Yeah.
right? So WOAD, WOAD, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's called WOAD or WOAD.
Yeah, I think.
And it's a blue. It's a plant that makes a blue dye, indigo.
Oh, and blue's that big color that was like the.
It's a primary color, right? And urine was a key ingredient. They would take this WOAD and then they'd ferment it in urine, and you'd get this deep, deep blue indigo. And it was a key ingredient in a lot of things.
Wasn't blue one of those colors though, where it's like no one could figure out how to make it for a while?
Oh yeah. I think cobalt was involved
right,
once
right.
they discovered cobalt.
Because like
but-
yellow and red are always.
yeah, you can find red ochre,
Yeah.
and yellow. Piss.
Right.
But so blue was a big one. Blue and purple associated with royalty.
Right.
So that blue pigment was used in Caesar's armies as like paint, and along with like Braveheart, like that blue stuff in Braveheart, that was WOAD. That was
Really?
piss paint.
Wow.
Robin Hood,
Piss me.
the Lincoln green of Robin Hood's men in tights, not tights, but
Right.
that Lincoln green was woad, fermented in urine, made a blue pigment, then dyed in yellow.
Wow.
So Robin Hood smelled like piss.
Yeah.
Another a big use for urine is gunpowder. So one of the ingredients in gunpowder is saltpeter.
Yeah.
It's the ancient name for potassium nitrate. And potassium nitrate is formed by the action of animal urine and soil. Takes time, but that's how you get saltpeter.
I believe Connections touches on this. Did you see that episode?
I think I did.
Yeah.
So
So the CD-ROM.
Yeah, you did.
We got to put
we
that up.
got
Yes,
to
yes.
talk about that
Yeah,
CD-ROM. So during the American Civil War, they had a shortage, the South,
Yeah.
and the Selma Morning Reporter one day ran an ad for Jonathan Harrelson, who had opened a gunpowder factory in Selma, and the ad read, quote,
Jesus Christ.
you got to imagine, you're in the South and you're fighting for your right to keep slaves. And in order to do that, you need gunpowder. But you're running out. But what you do have is plenty of piss. So you take out an ad in the Selma Morning Reporter with the following text, quote, the ladies of Selma are respectfully requested to preserve all their chamber lye collected about their premises for the purpose of making nitre. Wagons with barrels will be sent for it, end quote.
It really pops when you read it like
Fucking A, man.
So this guy would send around wagons collecting piss
Yeah.
to make gunpowder for the war effort.
It's still better than
I
fighting.
mean,
in the war,
after he
isn't it?
stuck his head in blue
After he
bubbles.
drank it all, bathed in it, cured all his eczema.
Yeah, one leg.
Yeah, he made one bullet worth of gunpowder. That's probably why they lost. Well, Drinko's pee-pee. He likes the taste. I got some more pistories if you want it.
I do want it bad.
The Hindu text, the Damar Tantra, is a 5,000-year-old text, and it has 107 stanzas dedicated to drinking piss,
Jesus.
a.k.a. the water of the god Shiva. 9 years of this method will make the follower immortal. 10 years, and it will be possible to float in the air with ease.
Ooh.
12 years, and it will allow the follower to live as long as the moon and the planets.
Wait, what about the immortality?
That's what I thought, too.
Okay,
It's like,
okay.
maybe it's just, Well, I'll go for the 10. I'll skip the last 2 years. Floating and immortality is enough. I don't need to
Right, yeah, because
do it on the moon.
planets die, too. I don't want to fucking...
But how do you get the piss of Shiva?
I think it's just called, urine is just called the water of the god
So it
Shiva.
can just be anybody's piss.
Anybody's
It could be
piss
Dave's
is technically
piss.
the water of the god Shiva.
So is there any documentation on, like, they saw people not living forever after drinking 10 years of piss?
No, all those people are still alive.
They're floating at the moon right now.
I think it's a
I've got
Netflix
moon stuff for you.
documentary.
I'm going to save the moon stuff. But if you are Hindu and drinking your own piss is disgusting to you, fear not. Because there are a plethora of cow urine products on the market currently, and cows are holy.
Yes.
Yes.
Lotions, pills, and even fizzy drinks made with cow urine currently on the market.
But is also just still drinking pee a big thing?
I don't think so.
No, you gotta fizz it up. Can't just be regular.
You gotta LaCroix it.
It's new piss.
Jesus Christ.
You guys remember the piss tax?
Yes,
Remember the
from
piss
Rome.
tax?
Yes.
Yeah, from Rome.
I
So,
loved that so much. That made me so happy.
well, let me tell you a little bit more about it. May I?
Yeah. I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool to me that they were like, fuck, these fucking piss fucking merchants are making so much goddamn money.
They're making hand over piss.
We need to be taxing these fuckers for their piss.
Exactly. So it was Vespasian who launched the Flavius family dynasty in AD 69.
Oh, whoa.
Hey,
Shit.
And he had to, he was looking to find a way to fund rebuilding and some basically public works stuff.
Right.
And it was he who levied the piss tax on the fullers who were collecting the public urine. So it was indeed, as you put it, Matt, a new yellow deal. And when his son Titus protested, Vespasian held up a coin. He pulled a coin out of his tunic, which was white from all that piss.
Oh, yeah, big time.
He pulled
Here's
a
a
coin up, held it under his son Titus's nose, and said, "Does this smell offend you?" And he said, "No." And he said, "Yet it comes from urine."
The coin?
Yeah.
Wait, someone wrote this down?
Yeah.
Yet it comes from urine?
Well, the tax.
That is so insane.
And so that it's the $50 is $50.
50 bucks, 50 bucks is 50 bucks.
I don't care where it comes from.
Right. So why was the son protesting? He was just like, you can't tax piss.
Yeah.
It's shit.
beneath us.
You
right.
throw it away,
Shit,
right?
yeah.
Man,
Hey, the piss smells.
that
The
really.
coin smells fine. Doesn't smell like piss to me.
There is some stuff. I mean, as barbaric as fucked up shit happened in Rome, but there is a lot of stuff about their civilization that you always look back and you're like, fuck, man, they were way ahead of their time. With
Yeah, and they
some
stole everything
shit.
from the Greeks and the Egyptians, but
Right, but I mean, as far as like
But, yeah.
certain things was like holy shit.
oh yeah, that's what I mean. What happened was the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages is what set us back as a species. We were on a pretty good trajectory up
Yeah.
until the
Yeah.
sacked Rome, not 10 years later.
Yeah.
But the Vespasian, this guy was very pragmatic. He was like the people's champ, right? He took off his own boots, and he had a great, John's a fan of last words, right?
Oh, yes.
So on his deathbed, his last
Piss
word,
in my mouth.
Piss on it.
his last words as he was dying was, "Damn, I'm already becoming a god."
That's a
Damn it.
nice.
And to this day, in France, public urinals are called Vespasien or
Really?
Vespasien, and in Italy they're called Vespasiani.
Wow.
Martin Luther,
That old fucker,
of the
yeah.
Protestant Reformation,
Yeah.
he suffered from kidney stones, bad to the point where he couldn't pee.
To the point where he created a new.
It was after that. It was after
okay.
that.
And he didn't see that as a sign of any sort.
Well, there's so much. I left out a lot of stuff about him because it's rich. But he had
rich?
he had
Is it rich like
really
this?
really bad kidney stones. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't that it dribbled. He could not pee
Oh, that's trouble.
for
Don't
days.
don't you just die then?
Right, he almost did. So he After he survived, he later described how his doctors would try everything. They gave me as much to drink as if I was a huge ox, and they treated all my limbs, even sucking at my private parts.
Huh?
That's a good doctor.
That's a great doctor. It's a head doctor.
That's it.
Nothing worked.
Huh?
Nothing worked.
The blowjob didn't work.
His body had become so bloated that he requested just to be taken home to Saxony to die. But on that long, bumpy road back home, something jarred loose. And he almost drowned in his own water.
After drinking it.
He almost they said it was just an incredible deluge.
The piss that came out of him.
Oh my
God.
And then he would later suffer from constipation and all this stuff.
Ugh, God damn it.
Then the book makes allusions to some of the later treatises that he wrote where he attacked an emperor, and then he said some anti-Semitic stuff that was later referenced by the Nazis in their pogroms and the Holocaust. It's sort of like maybe he should have died on that ride. It was very interesting.
Fuck, wow.
Man, he really would have pissed himself when he died.
Oh, man. Could you imagine?
He's just pissing for like 10 minutes after he dies.
Just the fountain.
It's just soaking in everything.
We talked about art and piss, right? A little bit.
Yes.
You mentioned the Andy. You mentioned some Andy Warhol stuff, so I'll touch on that. Andy Warhol. His biographer called Andy's friends, ghost pissers, because Andy, he would have his friends over and he would collect all their piss.
Yes, of course.
He'd collect all their piss, and he would use that piss to oxidize this copper paint that he had, because he went through this oxidation phase after like the Campbell soup and the Maryland, all that stuff. He went through this phase where he was like painting on copper plates and painting with copper, and so he used the piss to oxidize the paint and make all these dumb fucking paintings.
I like the making of the paint more than his works.
So do I.
I mean, that sounds interesting.
Yes, they were described as random, perverse creations, yet they are seriously beautiful. Picasso pissed on his sculptures to achieve a subtle green aged patina. He called it oxidizing a bronze.
Well, that's how we got the Statue of Liberty that color.
Well, exactly.
It's all the piss.
It was just piss. He'd even have his children pee on them as well to speed up the process.
That's fun.
There's the Piss Christ. Everybody knows the Piss Christ.
Yes.
It's a picture of a crucifix submerged in what is supposed to be piss.
Why that's controversial is so sad.
Right, and then the artist kind of explained, like, this is how we all come into the world, is covered in pee and blood. Oftentimes, in birth, a woman will urinate, defecate, and bleed.
Right.
Which is actually beneficial to the fetus, or not the fetus, to the newborn. So cesarean babies have more autoimmune dysfunction than naturally born vaginal birth babies, because in the process of birth, babies are exposed to the vaginal flora and fauna of their mother's pussy.
Right.
And sometimes they get a little bit of piss and shit on them too. And that's kind of like an inoculation of the baby's immune system.
Right.
But, you're a formula baby, so whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, but I still came out of a vagina.
Did you?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, flora, fauna.
Yeah.
Good for you, Joe.
I mean, I think I was a formula baby, but
no, you sound like one. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
Formula was in vogue at the time. I think. Yeah.
Formula was hot.
It was. It was like the thing. It was like, you don't even need to feed your baby anymore.
Right.
And people were like, cool,
great.
Yeah, better living through a camera. Let's see.
Modern age.
The 1984 Edinburgh Festival of Arts had their first official piss artist, John Cousins. While stretched out naked on a tilted bench, droplets of urine were directed by a foot-operated pump onto the rubber membranes of 7 drums. He was making piss music.
Oh, did it sound good?
It did sound good. He was inspired, I think it was by the flowing of water and when he went to the Grand Canyon.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and
Who
he
hasn't?
saw like water dropping
Yeah.
and making noise. I don't know. He fasted for 4 days and drank 18 to 20 mouthfuls of water during the performance.
Jesus Christ.
It was described as halfway between medical experiment and a piece of music, all done with the most incredible dignity.
So it was like a Rube Goldberg machine where
Oh,
he
if you-
pissed into something and it went up a tube and then down on these
Yeah,
drums.
yeah, and a couple like erector sets and
So you could see him pissing.
yes, you
Fun.
could see him making
That's a good. I mean, hey,
pee-pee.
take the family out.
Get
watch
you arrested anywhere else. Like,
It's art.
Hold on, I'm composing something. You savage.
Stained glass. Glass is made from sand and wood ash, and for the colors, metallic oxides are added to the molten mix. To cut the glass, a red hot rod, which may have been smelted or
I don't
quenched
wanna- I
with
don't wanna
urine in
brag,
the first
but-
place. A red hot rod drew the lines on the glass, and urine was then poured on it to get it to fracture in the desired shape.
Really?
How did they discover that?
And then when it came time to paint, urine was often used to turn paint powders into a paste that could be then used to smear all over.
How many discoveries where someone's like, "There's a fire right now and there's no water, so I will piss on it"?
I think that going back to that statement I said earlier is I think that it was just like, hey, water's too precious,
Right.
piss is plentiful. What if it was piss instead of water?
So someone was making stained glass and they like burned it, they fucked it up, and they're like, "Oh, it's put it out, I'll piss on it." And then they're like, "Wow, this
Works
actually
just
worked.
fine.
Wow, this is great."
Yeah, and it's cheap.
It's cheap and it's available.
Alright.
Yeah, you're piss poor.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in the money.
Wait, what?
So from the arts, let's go to, I guess we can go to music.
Oh, I love music.
R. Kelly's in the news.
Right.
He sure is,
Oh.
man.
Everybody's seen the video of R. Kelly pissing on that preteen.
I sent you that picture of Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry.
Remember I sent you that
Girl,
art?
you smell. Please,
Yeah.
say it.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, that quote from the, "Oh, you smell like piss." Hey, you got it all over you. Oh,
I'm not gonna kiss you.
I love you. You know I love you. Yeah, I know you love me.
Jesus.
Oh, you're covered in it.
But you're covered in piss.
Oh my God.
So Chuck Berry, R. Kelly, piss connoisseurs,
Yeah.
not patrons of the show. The Rolling Stones.
Yes, yes.
Bill Wyman of the Rolling Stones was noted by the other Rolling Stones as having one of the biggest human bladders ever in history.
It's a weird.
I haven't pissed since Exile on Main Street.
Wow, look at Bill.
So when they were a young band,
Yes.
they all had to piss really bad.
Right.
on the
Yeah.
road,
Well,
right?
this is the
So they rushed into like a petrol station in Forest Gate, East London, and they were told that the toilets were out of order. And Mick, being the rambunctious front
The
man,
brat.
being the big mouth brat that he
He's
was,
a rich boy.
said, "We'll piss anywhere, man."
And they
And
did.
so the rest, like, they chanted after him, "We'll piss anywhere, we'll piss anywhere." So they scurried around back and pissed on the wall of the garage.
Mm-hmm.
They were found guilty of behavior unbecoming of young gentlemen and were fined £5.
Fiver.
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 A fiver.
Fiver.
A fiver seems like the going rate for 3 minutes of piss, doesn't it?
it's through all of the history of London. That's always been the price.
It's the gold standard.
How about this? Don't make a protest movement. Leave the gas station. Quietly go out back and have yourself a piss. I'll tell you what, man. We're not going to play by your rules, right? We're going to go out back and piss all over the wall. And he's like, no, you won't.
Yeah, we will.
You want to bet?
So stupid.
David Bowie, a.k.a. Ziggy Stardust. He was so chopped up
Hell yeah.
during his time in L.A. prepping the album Station to Station.
He had many thin white Duke periods.
Yeah.
Some of them were thick.
For one reason or another, he became convinced that evil forces of black magic were out to get him.
What do you mean for some reason? It was the
It was
chop.
the cocaine. Particularly in the shape of Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin.
Oh, no.
Who
'Cause
himself-
He loved piss.
He himself was a fan of the occult, as if you remember from the
that
Aleister
too.
Crowley episode.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Jimmy Page was
Yes.
super into
Jimmy
the occult.
Page had a lot of things he was
He
a fan
eventually
of.
bought the property that Aleister Crowley owned
Good
out there
God
up
almighty.
near Loch Ness or
It was a
something.
good place to die in.
So you're David Bowie. You're so chopped up that you think occult Jimmy Page is after you.
Yes. He also thought that the
spiritually.
Rolling Stones were sending him secret messages in their record sleeves.
What?
So
He was an
in order to
artist.
ward off evil spirits, he started doing what I'll get to later, is the practice of keeping his hair clippings, fingernails, and urine in the
Oh.
fridge
Yeah.
because
Oh.
it keeps away the evil spirits, which brings me
Well, I
to...
guess spirits don't have thumbs? Because
Well,
they can't open
well,
a fridge? What's
I think they don't like hair clippings, fingernails, and piss.
They do.
In the
I mean,
fridge,
they
though.
do. They do mainly say the witchy stuff happens if you capture somebody's fingernails.
Right.
or-
So,
right, was
so in
Vanderbilt with his
witchcraft,
hair.
it
I mean,
was
that's
it
the whole
was
Samson thing. Yeah.
cutting off Samson's hair.
Right, yeah.
to cast spells upon him.
Well,
No,
like,
well,
there's that
Samson's
whole-
strength was derived from his hair.
Right.
And Vanderbilt was like, no one can have my hair because they might use it against
Exactly,
me, right? So
yes.
there's a
Yeah,
whole history
yeah.
of this shit.
All hair dolls of all the girls.
Right.
I've had sex
On the
with that are in my
seventh day,
closet.
Jesus shaved his beard, and everybody collected it and ate it, and it's delicious.
ate it.
Yeah,
Jesus
that's a
Christ.
forgotten chapter in the Bible.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. John.
Curious.
I ate some of his beard.
Mary was his beard.
Hey,
It was once believed that you could free yourself of a spell by magically stopping the guilty witch's ability to urinate.
oh yeah.
So the victim would bottle his or her own urine along with things like iron nails, needles, some hair, and fingernail clippings, and then just wait for it to work its magic. I can read you a passage.
Please do.
I'll read you a passage here, just to give you a little context. On page 194 here.
Some people say we're too context heavy on this show.
In 1681, an English vicar, Joseph Glanville, produced a collection of folklore so confidently affirming of the malign power of witchcraft that it influenced the notorious Salem witch trials in Massachusetts 11 years later. He told the story of a man who put his ailing wife's urine into a bottle with pins and needles and nails, corked them up, and warmed the bottle on a fire. Unfortunately, Glanville tells us, the cork bounced out and the urine, pins, and nails all flew up, and his wife continued in the same trouble and languishment still. The husband was then advised to follow the same procedure again, but this time to bury the bottle in the ground. This man did. His wife began to mend and was soon, quote, finally well recovered. Then the twist to the tale. But there came a woman from a town some miles off to their house with a lamentable outcry that they had killed her husband. That husband was a wizard and had bewitched the man's wife, which, as far as Glanville was concerned, proved everything. Science.
Yeah. So they there's nails and
Yeah, so if you put nails and needles and piss and hair and
That's a
fingernails
bomb.
in a jar,
Yeah, that's
and
a
you put a
bomb.
cork in it, yeah, read the CIA manual, and then you heat it, it explodes in your face.
right. It makes napalm and shit, right? That's what you want to add heat and nails to piss.
Great.
I
Great
don't think
idea.
so.
Well, if you're a terrorist, you already have everything else. You might as well piss on it.
Yeah.
How about actual beer piss?
Go on.
So ever since beer was introduced to Britain in the 15th century from Germany and Flanders, taverns would happily add urine to it to make a stronger ale. By the 17th century, the process had even had its own name called lanting. And so the literature of the time refers to single-lanted or double-lanted brews.
How many notches it was kicked up?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Right.
How many, and if you ate some mushrooms or some meth,
Right.
you really kick it
Get
up.
some
a few
reindeer
notches.
pissing in it.
I think like sometime in the 80s, like a Heineken distributor in Nevada started a rumor that Corona bottlers were pissing in Corona, and like Corona stock dropped and all that. There was a $3 million lawsuit.
Wow.
Heineken
Yeah, which itself is piss beer.
yeah.
Yeah. Super pissy.
Let's see here. We can get into, I guess, into some writers. Some writer, Marcel Proust, in his book Swan's Way. He mentioned that a dinner of asparagus had transformed his chamber pot to, quote, a jar of fragrance. Asparagus pea affects about half of the population.
Wait, there's really some people don't.
Yeah, some people don't make it.
Cowards.
Or can't smell it. It's mercaptan, which is the same as what gives skunks smell.
Oh.
And asparagosic acid.
Wait, so a lot of that skunk smell is piss.
No, it's
Their glands.
yeah, it's their glands that have a compound that is found in asparagus piss.
Oh, okay.
It's not all piss.
Okay.
Crazy.
Let's see.
Skunks, man. So many skunks.
Yates, you know Yates.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah. Irish.
Yates and the Scot Hugh McDermott, they were good friends. You know
Is that right?
Yeah, I'll tell you how they became
scandalous.
good friends.
Uh-oh.
The Irishman W.B. Yeats and the Scot Hugh McDermott, one night in 1928, they were wandering the streets of Dublin together. Apparently, they were not drunk. Apparently, they had drank lemonade together.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And the following conversation happened. Yates, who was 60 at the time, said, "Well, if you'll excuse me, I must urinate." And said McDaniel, who was 36. "Well, I thought to myself, well, what an Irish senator can do, there's no reason that a Scottish magistrate can't do it either. So I crossed swords with him, and we became very friendly after that."
That is a good way to meet people.
It's a great way to make acquaintances,
Yeah,
is to
it
cross
is.
the streams.
It's
Yes.
pretty fun. You can do it from a distance. You can do it up close. You can.
So it's this
You
Scottish
can do it
guy,
on Twitch.
this Scottish guy and this Irish guy, in their elder years.
Well, no, in Yates'
Yates
elder
was
years.
old, but-
Yates was old. McDermott was 36.
36.
Yeah.
He goes.
Well, if this old fucking Mick can do it, there's no reason why I can't.
No way. He thinks he's going to piss alone.
So peeing on a vanquished enemy is kind of a
A good time.
good thing. Right?
Is that a Mortal Kombat finish? It feels like it should be.
Fatality.
Yeah, pistality.
Piss on him, motherfucker.
So,
Like Nixon.
Shang Tsung all with
imagine Goro pissing on you.
with his four cocks.
So Winston Churchill pissed on Germany
Did he?
twice.
From the air?
Yeah, I was gonna
No.
say Zeppelin was.
No. First, so in the final months of the Second World War, first he chose the West Wall, the German defensive barrier known to the Allies as the Siegfried Line, which had been breached by the Allies as they advanced into Germany, and with the Hitler war machine kind of falling apart, Churchill flew into Eindhoven in Holland in March of 1945 and was driven by Rolls-Royce to the American Ninth Army headquarters to meet the U.S. Commander Simpson. And before the party moved on, Simpson asked Churchill if he would like to use the lavatory. And Churchill said, "How far is the Siegfried Line?" And they said, "It's about a half an hour's ride." And he said, "I'll wait.
I'll hold it.
I'll hold it." And so he waited. And a column about 20 to 30 cars pulled up. And
Probably fucking cross-eyed drunk too.
Yeah. But he knows how to make
was
a scene.
huge drunk.
Yeah.
And he goes to start to take a piss, and they're about to take pictures. And Churchill goes, "Hey, this is one of the operations connected with the Great War, which must not be reproduced graphically."
Wow.
And so he took a leak, and he says, "I shall." And I guess his biographer says, "I shall never forget the childish grin of intense satisfaction that spread all over his face as he looked down at the critical moment." And then,
that must have been pretty fun.
and then,
I mean,
Oh yeah.
pissing on your enemy.
Yeah. I just beat Hitler
Yeah.
and well, I almost beat Hitler. It's about done.
So a few days later,
Thought he was gonna be pissing on my house a couple of months ago.
yeah.
in the final push for Allied victory in 45, Patton beat his British rival, not enemy, but his British rival, Marshal Montgomery, across the Rhine.
Yes.
He crossed the Rhine before the Britons did.
Yeah, the speed of Patton was like a huge thing, and one of the things that Stalin was quoted as admiring him for, because he was like replicating that
Blitzkrieg.
Blitzkrieg.
It was the
yeah.
American Blitzkrieg.
Blitzkrieg. Yeah,
Right? Without the speed.
yeah.